knocks out the way. Understand this, it's dangerous. And in 1964, this seems to be the year. Because what can the white man use now to fool us? After he put down that march on Washington, and you see all through that now, he tricked you, had you marching down to Washington. Yes, had you marching back and forth between the feet of a dead man named Lincoln and another dead man named George Washington, singing "We Shall Overcome."
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Those were, of course, the prophetic words of the elder of ours, of course, El Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, Brother Malcolm X. Let me do this as we're transitioning into the second half of the show. Got to thank the elders that joined me in the first half of the show from the Soul School Institutes. Again, brought to you and thought to you the Malcolm X tour that's coming up. Got a brother joining me in the studio that I want to kind of get into this other story. If time permits, I will get into the resignation of the superintendent, Andrea Alonso. If I don't get into that today, you definitely want to make sure you have a front row seat tomorrow, because I'm going to go a little deeper into that. But breaking news as it was yesterday, front page in the Sun paper today, police officer, alleged Baltimore City police officer, James Smith, I believe was his name from what I read, 20-year veteran in the Special Operations Unit, taken into custody late Tuesday evening. Headlines was officer gives up in standoff. Barricade in Sandtown, Winchester lasts for hours. Veteran in custody, woman fatally shot. All of this was on the heels of some information that I received yesterday morning early that the MEMA, the Maryland Emergency Management Agency, along with FEMA, along with multi-agencies within the Baltimore City Police Department and others, were planning this Western District Public Safety Initiative, the Incident Action Plan. And I want to have, that's joining me in the studio, brother is no stranger, of course, that joins me regularly on the State of the City to kind of give his insight. And I want to thank the citizens in West Baltimore as we put out on our Twitter and on our Facebook page a Bolo alert, because the question we got to ask is what we were seeing and what we were told happened regarding the standoff. Was it live? Was it in person? Was it in living color? Was it real, or was it just a drill, a calculated drill to get your response there in West Baltimore? So if you're online or you're tuning in, you in West Baltimore, it's a Bolo alert, because we understand that this drill is not just a one-day drill, but we understand it's a two-day drill. So let me bring up on the microphone my brother Jimothy, to kind of give us his insight as he was there on the scene yesterday to give us an update and kind of maybe slow walkers on part one on this Western District Public Safety Initiative, run through the mayor's office, run through FEMA, run through MEMA, the Maryland Emergency Management Association, and others that are part of this drill that was taking place yesterday. And the question is, did the public know these drills were taking place in their community? And again, was it a drill or was it live regarding what we've been seeing and hearing? And even the news media has been complicit in this drill as well. So welcome, brother, to the State of the City, Brother Jimothy.
That's correct. Thank you. And, of course, good afternoon to all of the listeners who are today. I'm coming in, today as a concerned citizen.
Yes, sir.
If you're a citizen in the West Baltimore community, particularly within the Pennsylvania, Penn North area.
Fulton Avenue, Parish Street, what's that other community? Easterwood community.
That's correct.
Yes, sir. Sandtown, Winchester, as we see. So let's go ahead and just to give the people a little of what we do know about this drill, brother.
That's right. And what we know is that it has been presented as a community cleanup. There is some positive news coming out of a resource fair, something that's going on this Saturday. And so as a concerned citizen, I went out and decided to go on over and see how I could be of some help, how I could be of some volunteer, to help with that type of cleanup and initiative,
right.
In the spring, because that's important.
Yeah, the mayor's spring cleanup.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Okay. We can get some bulk trash out of City Hall. Some bulk trash out of North Avenue at the so-called command center of the Department of Education. But please continue, my brother.
I agree. And so I went up there yesterday morning, and once we were able to get information and some of the packets and things that were passed out, I was able to see, a packet entitled, Public Safety Initiative, which is great on the surface. And then, you just kind of peel back a little bit and you say, okay,
right.
Well, Incident Action Plan. Well, exactly what is that?
Right. Now,
I've come
let me interrupt for one second. Now, who was handing out the material?
Materials were being handed out by law enforcement.
Okay. Was there a councilman there as well?
I did not see
Didn't see a council person? Okay.
No.
But there was a council person that tweeted about it or sent out Facebook messages about this?
That's right. The 7th District Councilman.
Nick Mosby?
That's correct.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Was there, put the information out via the social media for the resource fair.
Yes, sir.
And so I, went ahead and said, well, that's good job. Let's go on out and get some more information. But, when we see a trend of things happening, in terms of the layers,
yes, sir,
the multi-layers of this,
right,
let's go back and say, well, why is there, this incident command?
Right.
What type of incident?
That's right.
Certain questions, if there's a preparedness drill
yes, sir,
being associated. And then, so we have to, take that, what we know, and then look at the increased police presence,
right,
actively tracking data, monitoring levels of crime.
Yes.
The door-to-door.
So they were going door-to-door
in
West Baltimore. Now, I know all y'all listening in West Baltimore, and I know you done got some police already knocked at you. And they tell me this is a 2-day drill. They were there this morning again, right?
No, let's be specific. It's not specifically police that knock on the door, but volunteers.
Firefighters. They got volunteers. Look like they even had some college students from what I've been reading as well. So we could have some crisis actors again being brought in to be a part of this drill, or other volunteers, as they would say.
NGOs.
Yes, sir. NGOs, the non-government organizations or the non-profits that are working with the law enforcement as well.
Yeah.
So please, let's continue, brother.
We have a right to just to know.
That's right. Got a right to know
information.
That's right.
To ask questions, and so let's kind of look at this. Why were we preparing for contingency plans? What type of contingency plan?
Yes, sir.
Are there more things in the future?
Right.
This seems to be a week of events. And, so our citizens should be aware that, these events are multifaceted and that there are other levels.
Right.
So we have, a lot of things going on here. And so when we peel it back, we say, okay, well, this is a pattern of things that are happening in many cities, in many parts of the country.
Right.
And so when these things happen, it's just good for the public to be aware of it.
Right. But it seems that on the heels of this drill, then we had this incident that just happened to take place within that same direct area, almost a corridor where these drills are taking place, and then no questions are asked really to the police commissioner, who strangely enough or oddly enough, normally they have their press conference at the command center at their headquarters, but it's held in the Western District for the first time that I've ever witnessed a police commissioner having a press conference in the Western District, and no one asked, was there a 911 call regarding this incident? How did the police just happen to be there when this quote-unquote domestic incident occurred? Any thoughts and comments on that?
And there were so many questions. And one of the questions that came out from what appears to be a resident, in one paragraph here, it says police would not disclose the circumstances of how officers had arrived at the scene before the shots were fired, saying it was an active investigation. Now, if that's recorded right there in the Sun newspaper, I think we should look into that.
That's right.
If there was indeed this drill situation,
right. That's right.
Then that would explain why they were there.
They were already there. Yes, sir.
Motives and all of that, we don't have that information.
That's
but
right.
we do, and we can answer why they were there and why they were prepared for this.
Yes. And if anyone's out there listening, if you know the name of the alleged suspect, the shooter, of course, James Smith, the young lady, or someone said, I think her name is Miss Diggs, who was supposed to be the one that was shot and did die, that if all of this did take place, of course, then I'm going to extend my empathy and sympathy. But let me go to this piece with Batch yesterday to see what he says and what maybe he doesn't say.
Inclusion of barricaded suspect. Mr. Smith has given himself up. We have taken him into custody. And I know people
Listen
are
to
going
the
to have
shelter in place.
Questions. They're going to want to know in specificity what occurred out there. That's not what I want to focus on right now. What I want to focus on right now is that we have a 4-year-old that's probably traumatized. We unfortunately have lost the life of our victim. She has succumbed to her wounds. We need to wrap around that family. We need to secure the family within the police organization too as a whole. We're trying to get psychological help to all parties that are involved in this. We will be mourning for the family in the coming days. What we're going to focus on right now is getting a message out to families in that community to let them know that we will shelter them tonight into the hotel space. We will not be opening this crime scene up probably until like 3 or 4 o'clock a.m. in the morning at the earliest. We still have a crime scene out there that we need to investigate, and right now the SWAT team is clearing the house to make sure that no one's inside. So we just let the families know, the residents know. It'll be a little time and be a little patient with us at this point.
Commissioner, is the 4-year-old the son of the victim?
We don't know that for a fact. We can speculate on that. We believe that potentially that's the biological son of Mr. Smith, but we don't know for a fact, so we need to validate it.
How did this whole situation come about? I mean, we understand there was officers on the scene. Had they been called there for domestic disturbance or anything like that? I mean, how much can you go into that?
Again, those are going to be details that I know that you want, and the community is going to be crying for that too. Right now, we're still on ongoing investigation. That's part of having that crime scene that's locked down right now, and we're trying to get that information. So that will be forthcoming, but we won't have that information for you.
Commissioner, once the victim was shot, did the suspect enable police to come and rescue her and take her to the hospital?
There again, that's the same thing as far as the investigation. These are all things that we're going to have answers for you. But right now, it's still an ongoing crime scene. It's an ongoing investigation, so give us a little time so we don't give you the wrong information. I want to make sure that it's validated, and we will be open, we will be transparent, and we will provide that information.
What did you guys do? What did you say? What convinced her?
We just gave it time. And we just gave it time. We had our psychologists speaking with them and just trying to calm them down and calm down the scene. We were very happy that we released the 4-year-old, the toddler that came out. And we're very happy that he came out. Again, we mourn the loss of life, and more importantly, we have a young lady who lost her life, and that's the bigger focus right now.
Is it true that he was communicating with officers throughout this ordeal?
There was times where he had access to cell phones until we get capabilities to limit that and cut it off.
Have the officer had any problems in recent times, Commissioner?
That information I can't disclose to you because I don't know the answer to it at this point, and that will be the things that we will come forth with in the coming days. I thank you for your time.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Welcome back. Listen to the State of the City. Thoughts and comments as I heard Commissioner Batch talking about shelter in place, which is almost the same language they were using in Boston when they were going door to door, and they were telling the residents that this was not martial law. In fact, we're just coming to rescue you. So you heard the commissioner reference a crime scene. Now, if the crime scene was in the house, then why do you have to lock down the rest of the neighborhood? If the crime scene was just in the house, brother, thoughts and comments on this?
Well, you know, when you said that and you brought that point, I had to look into it. I think there are two different places. We're talking about where the officer was removed, right, and where he came out, and where the young girl was shot as well. She was outside, so I think we'll be talking about that in terms of crime scene.
Yes, sir.
But it just doesn't sit well, right? It doesn't sit well in terms of timing. We understand incidents happen every day in the city of Baltimore, and every incident is just as important and should require, much attention from law enforcement all the time.
Yes, sir.
There are multiple shootings and stabbings and all kinds of chaos.
We see this kind of response.
And we see this response.
Right. Yes, sir.
So when something makes front page,
that's right,
then we have to talk about it. Now we know we have to focus more attention.
That's right.
And read between the lines, as they say. And that's what we're here to do today.
That's right. And according to this information we're reading, it looks like the mayor's operations section chief is a Connor Scott that's working in City Hall. So we're going to have to call Connor Scott down there and see what he knows, if any of this is actually tied, as I said before, to the drill. But let me open up the lines. I promise I'll get into the Andre Alonso story tomorrow for the many of you and plenty of you been asking me, Brother Muhammad, what do you think about Andres Alonso? I'm going to get into the big jabroni tomorrow, I promise you, because that's going to deserve quite a few time to dedicate to get into that story. We'll talk about Andre Alonso, but know that you're the laughing stock of the country around Alonso, around Tisha Edwards and the rest of them, that they would even want to offer up to you as a superintendent of public schools, or why they would even call them CEOs, because they're not quantified, qualified, or sanctified. But let me open up the lines. If you're there in West Baltimore, some of the ones I know listen to my show, Brown from Sandtown. He ain't called me since he brought my D-Nation around. But it's all right, Brother Brown, if you out there listening, man, or you in Sandtown, and police knocking on your door, talking about, we just want to find out if your smoke detector works. Wait a minute, man. They do smoke detectors in October. Now they coming around, they even had a list of questions that they're supposed to ask when they knock on the doors, right?
That's right.
So we're looking at all of this information that maybe if you in West Baltimore, you could be locked down and locked up under martial law without them declaring martial law. But we got a list of them questions they're supposed to ask. Hi, my name is so-and-so, and I work for Mayor Rollins. I'm in your neighborhood. I work for organization so-and-so. I'm part of the Western District Public Safety Initiative. Did you vote for this initiative? Do you know about this initiative if you're living in West Baltimore?
I've lived there for 2 years and no one came to me.
Yes, sir. So let me come to the line. They didn't knock on your door when they want to close your recreation centers. They didn't knock on your door when they close your black hospitals. But now they're knocking on your door for something else here. But let me see. The old saying, what's that new Homeland Security motto? If you see something, say something, right?
That's correct.
Well, we've seen something.